Good morning, pre-algebra. Hopefully everybody had a great night last night, and today you're ready for a new lesson, 10-6. Okay, so let's figure out how we're gonna get to 10-6. So right now you should be on your Google Classroom. Go up here to your classwork, scroll all the way down here to chapter 10, click on that, and you will see the completed notes. We're down here at 10-6. Let's see what we have going on here today. Okay, so 10-6 is the probability of simple events. So we're going to start getting into probability now. So it's a pretty easy concept to understand here. So let's look and see what probability is. So probability is when you attempt a free throw and there are two possible results, making or missing the shot. Each result is an outcome. Okay, so those are known as our outcomes. Either we're going to make it or we're going to miss it. Those are our outcomes. A simple event is one outcome or a collection of outcomes. The probability of an event is the ratio. So we're dealing here with a fraction that compares the number of favorable outcomes to the number of possible outcomes. Our possible outcomes are our total. Okay, so as you see here, this is how we write it, okay? We use the letter P here for probability. Right here, the letter P. Now, this event, we will write it as a subscript, which means it's slightly lower than the P here. And whatever that event is going to be, whether it's picking a blue, getting a heads, getting a tails, whatever it might be. So it equals here the number of favorable outcomes, that's what we are looking for, over the total possible outcomes that we can have. So that's pretty much what we're talking about here. It says the probability of an event is a number between 0 and 1, okay? A 0 here means it does not occur at all. A 1 means, hey, it's 100% that it's going to occur. We'll talk about this over here in a second, okay? And the one that expresses the likelihood of an event occurring. The closer a probability is to 1, the more likely it is to occur. So let's take a look over here. Let me move my picture down here. Let's look here. If something has a percent of 0 chance of occurring. So let's say I was rolling what they call a number cube. That's a die. Okay. So as you know, dice typically have your numbers 1 through 6 on them. If I were to say, what's the probability of me rolling a 7? Well, that's impossible because there is not a 7 on a number cube, okay? So if we get a 25% chance, that means we consider that unlikely. If there's a 50% chance of getting it, that means we consider it equally likely. 75%, we are around the likely area. In 100%, that means, hey, it is certain we are definitely going to get that. So let's take a look and see what we have down here now. Okay, if we look here, it says a bag contains 7 pink, 2 white, and 6 blue marbles. 1 marble is selected without looking. Find the probability of a blue. Then describe the likelihood of the event. Write impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. So as we look here, here's how we're going to write. We're going to do our P, our capital P, with a subscript, which is in the parentheses. This is our what we want to get. Okay. So this is going to be equal to our blue, which is what we are favoring, over the total here. So our total, if we were to add these marbles up, we got 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So there's 15 of the marbles in the bag, and 6 of them are blue. Okay, so it's going to be 6 over 15. So if we reduce that, that's 2 over 5. Okay, now use your calculator, get that out, and you're going to go 2 divided by 5, which is 40%. So if we look back up here, 40%, yeah, we're close to equally, but not quite yet. So we would consider that to be unlikely, the unlikely chance that we are going to get a blue. So let's look here at the next one here. It says a box contains 8 red, 7 blue, and 5 yellow blocks. A block is selected without looking. Find the probability of picking a yellow. Okay. Then describe the likelihood of the event. Is it impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain? So here's how we're going to write this. We have our capital P for probability, our favorable event, which means we're trying to see what the probability is to get a yellow. So we know this is going to be our yellow over our total. Let's see how many total do we have here. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 5 more is 20. And how many of those blocks are yellow? That is 5. That's right here. So if we look, it's going to be 5 over 20, which equals 1/4, which is the same as 25%, and 25% is unlikely. So there's an unlikely chance we are going to pull out a yellow block. Let's look at this one down here. Okay. Katie rolls a 6-sided number cube, okay, whose sides are numbered 1 through 6. Find the probability of rolling an even. Then describe the likelihood of an event. Okay, so probability, our favorable outcome is to get an even. Okay, so here we go here. If we take a look here, we want our favorable outcomes at the top out of the total possible outcomes. Well, we know since it's a 6-sided die that there's a possibility of 6 different of our outcomes. Now, they want it to be even. Well, let's look and see here. The number 2 is even. The number 4 is even. And the number 6 is even. So there's a total of 3 favorable of our outcomes there. So that's why it's going to be 3 over 6, which reduces down to 1/2. And 1/2 is equal to 50%. So that is equally likely right here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Suppose a number cube is rolled whose sides are numbered 1 through 6. Find the probability of getting a 4 or a 5. So it doesn't matter which one. It could be either or there. Then describe the likelihood of the event. Okay, so once again, the big P, our capital P here. Our subscript is our favorable event. That's either a 4 or a 5. You need to write this stuff so you know what you are looking for. So if we look here, our favorable, our outcomes is either going to be a 4 or 5. The possible outcomes is going to be 6. So the favorable outcomes, well, there's 1 4 and there's 1 5. So that means there's 2 favorable outcomes we can get. So 2 over 6 equals 1/3. 1/3 is equal to 33 and 1/3%. So that is unlikely to occur. Okay, let's see what we have here next. Find the probability of the complement. The complement is the opposite. Okay, the opposite of stop is go. That's a complement. So the complement of a set is the set of all objects that do not belong to the given set. Two events are complementary if one or the other must happen, but they cannot happen at the same time. For example, when you roll a number cube, the number cube must land on an even number or an odd number, but not on both. The sum of the probability of events and its complement is 1. Okay, now 1 is going to represent our 100%. So let's look at what they are saying here. Okay. So it says a bag contains 7 pink, 2 white, and 6 blue marbles. It looks like the one we just did. So it says 1 marble is selected without looking. Find the probability of not blue. Okay, not blue here. Okay. So let's see what we have here. Okay, it's not going to be blue. Okay, so it says describe the likelihood of the event. So basically, we know that if we take the probability of blue plus the probability of not blue, okay, this is going to equal 1. Okay, this is going to equal 1 because if you think about this, okay, I have 6 over 15 plus not blue is going to be 9 over 15. Okay, and 16 over 15 plus 9 over 15 is going to equal 1. Okay, so this here is our 9 over 15 because this is not blue. Let's see if I can write this here. There we go. So if we see this here, This is blue. This is our complement, which is not blue. That should equal 1, which is 100%. So if we want to figure out what not blue is going to be, yes, could we just do the 7 plus 2 equals our 9 over 15 and go from there? Yes, but they want us to use the complement, okay? So basically what we're saying, it's not going to be blue. So it's going to be 1 minus our blue is what we have here. That is going to be the same as our not blue. So we know our 1 is the same as 15 over 15 minus our probability of getting a blue, which we said before was 6 over 15. So if you subtract this and do 15 over 15 minus 6 over 15 equals 9 over 15, which equals 3/5, which is 60%. So if we look all the way up here, 60%, hey, we're getting into the likely stage in here. Okay, let's go with the next one here. It says a box contains 8 red, 7 blue, and 5 yellow blocks. A block is selected without looking. Find the probability of not yellow. So let's go back through this again. We know the probability of yellow is 5 over 20. So not our yellow. So if we take our 8 plus our 7 here, that's going to be 15 over 20. So if I add my 5 over 20 plus my not yellow, which is 15 over 20, okay, that's going to equal 20 over 20, which is our 1. Okay, so we have our 1 right there. So now let's look down here a little bit more. So what's the probability? So these here are the complements of each other. So let's look and see what the probability is not getting a yellow block here. So if we take a look here, we have our 1 because that's our 100%. Now we're going to subtract what the probability is to get a yellow. Okay, if we take a look here, okay, it's 1 minus your 5 over 20, and 1 is the same as 20 over 20. Minus your 5 over 20 equals your 15 over 20, which reduces down to 3/4, which is 75%, which means it is likely to occur. Other than that, guys, hopefully you understood that lesson. It was actually pretty easy. Your homework is online, so make sure you complete that today. Tomorrow is going to be a catch-up day, which means you can complete any work that you are missing just so you can catch up, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.